Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys.
Jeff, I'm doing good. Are you doing good?
I'm hanging in there, man. I am hanging in there, Life of a karate school owner is a little up and down every day right now. It's insane.
You're not lying. But hey,
Yeah.
you look like, you're good. Look like no symptoms.
No. I'm great. I'm more just probably tired and stressed more than anything. So I'm trying not to stay stressed because if anything, that's what's going to mess up your immune system.
Oh, that'll mess you up just with that.
Right.
So how's your house handling that? How's your house handling the quarantine? Because everybody's kind of handling it a little different.
Yeah, we go between. Well, for me, I go from my place to the karate school to my girlfriend's place. That's it. And then I guess, and then her, it's the same thing.
But that probably wasn't going to be any different than if it was just a normal.
Honestly, it's not that much different. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that part's not different.
Now, what's she doing? Is she doing what's her day-to-day like?
Well, yeah, like the kids are at home now. Like Monday, they just gave like schoolwork finally, so they're doing that, working that. They come. Each of them do one day at the school to help, with classes and stuff. Which we are doing online and everything. Right now, Virginia. They gave us 30 days to close our business and to the public, right? So again, we are allowed to go to our business, staff is, but public cannot come in. They did 30 days last Monday or last Tuesday. So I had to shut down, it was like the day before our podcast last week. So I was kind of like trying to figure out what to do.
So in Virginia, basically they set it up to where like with that,
it's stay at home.
Business owner or operators are the only people allowed in there. So,
with that respect, and their staff, but yes, but no.
So it would basically look like there'd be like 1 to 3 people per business really in there. Okay, I understand that.
And so for like a small business like mine, it's mostly family that runs it and maybe 2 instructors. You know what I'm saying? But Monday they pushed it to June 10th. So. We are, it got real as far as like out of nowhere.
When you say, wait, what do you mean when you say pushed it to June 10th? Like pushed it out where like nobody's doing anything until June 10th.
Yeah. So they made the stay at home decree or whatever you call it to June 10th. They're given fines, arrests if they,
word.
Yeah. So it's getting serious. As far as that goes, for me, that's more of a serious thing as far as running your business and things, because you have people that want to be like, well, can we take this off for April until this gets back?
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And it's like, well, now listen, this is just reality. You're going to have to deal with it. You have to understand, and I'm going to have to adapt to it. So I mean, we can go ahead and right into it right now if you want.
No, so here's the thing. There's some positives to this.
Yes, there are.
There's some strange positives, and I don't know what it's like in Virginia. So, in Illinois, let's put it like this: people drive a little different. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this: like in Minnesota, you might as well just sit tight. If you want to get cooking and you want to get somewhere quick, forget about it. It's not going to happen. All right.
Right.
There's more of them than there is of you. They're going to lock you in. If the speed limit is 55 and someone's going 58 in the left lane, that's just the way it's going to be. There's nothing you can do about it. Because if you get past that guy, there's 6 or 7 others that are doing the same thing, and they'll just sit one right next to the other, and then we'll go anywhere. So there's no point. Now, in Illinois, the Chicagoland area, it's a bit different. There's no cops anywhere to be found. Like, no one. And this sounds like an exaggeration. I promise you it's not.
Uh-huh.
Right? There's no traffic. None.
Wow.
No Chicago traffic is the strangest thing to me. Okay,
Right,
so like
right. So that's a
where
positive thing. Yeah.
I live in Elgin. Okay, and Elgin is probably like 25 to 30 miles from the city, right? From the heart of the city. Okay,
Right.
of Chicago. But that would really take you like an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's going to take you like your rush hour is going to take you like 2 hours to get there. That's just reality.
Yeah.
There's no such thing now. You're getting there in 35 to 40 minutes. This is strangest, and this is for real. Like no, like people. It's basically like I dare you to pull me over. There's nobody there to pull anybody over.
Wow.
People are flying 95 to 100 miles an hour, just flying. And the crazy part is not even like I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm going pretty quick, right? I ain't doing triple digits. So there's not even a bunch of people on the road. It's not like you got to zigzag through people. You just pick a lane and go. And so that's like a positive. Like if you got somewhere to go, you get there.
Yeah, traffic's been way less. I mean, it's not that much here. The weird thing is that everyone thought, the college traffic would be down. But we're in Lynchburg where the one school decided to bring everybody back. So
what do you mean bring everybody back?
Yeah, Liberty University is still having at least 15,000 students. I don't know if it's that many, but 12,000 students. It's a private university. So
yeah, but wait a minute. If it's a private university, can't the state say, we supersede you?
So I think it's limited on certain things that they're doing. So, but they have on-campus people, if they want to stay, can. I don't know all the details, but it's a big. I try to stay out of all the negativity and stuff, so I just know a little bit of that. But it's a little crazy. Yeah, it's all the other colleges are shut down, done, or letting their if they're using anything, they're using the campus for helping people and stuff like that, right? But
that's interesting.
But yeah, Liberty is you'll have to look that up. Falwell's done it again. So
so I thought about something.
Yeah.
I thought about another positive, because we're just basically people are just cooped up and got nothing to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was getting creative. I'm thinking like, what could keep people quarantined but still do something? And I thought about, what about a drive-in movie?
That's what I was thinking too, because I was like, man, they need a drive-in theater.
Well, then I started thinking about this even more.
Yeah.
What if they did this? Because I like going to shows. I like seeing people, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, what if it was like you get a guy on stage doing a comedy show, but it's a drive-in, and they got a screen,
and they
can't
get
the audio from your car. Right? Nobody gets out of the car. Yeah. It's not a bad idea, is it?
No. I was saying that the other day. I was like, that would be cool, because what one of the theaters is doing around here, they are doing drive-through popcorn, like movie popcorn, right? And so it's just kind of a cool thing they're doing. Say, here, get your real movie popcorn to go home and watch your movie before, whatever. But they have enough room that honestly they could do it and just put a big screen there or whatever. I know what?
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
I don't know how many drive-in movie theaters really exist anymore.
It's not too many.
When was the last time you went to a drive-in movie?
I don't think I ever had. There was one.
Get out of here.
No, there was one about 30, 45 minutes away from where I went to college, but I never ended up making it. So
I went. Yeah. Last one I think I went to. I went there. I saw this. A lot of people went to go see this movie. Some people got freaked out about it. I thought it was the dumbest thing I ever seen. You ever remember the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
That was the dumbest movie I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Bunch of idiot teenager campers who's running around getting scared. I get an idea. If you're scared, leave. All right? Just get whatever. That was like the last movie what was that? 1999. So that's what 21 years ago.
Right.
It was the last. But I don't know. Maybe that's like they're done now. I don't know. It's not a bad idea though, right?
No, it's a good idea. I wish they would come back. It's cool. We have more of like watch a movie on the lawn or whatever. They have different people that set up a big thing and do it on the lawn. Yeah, that's
I was gonna buy one of those things.
Yeah,
you get like a big inflatable thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So it's not warming up here though. It's not. Yeah, it's still kind of chilly.
It's been pretty nice these past few days. Tonight was crazy. Like it got a little cold again, but like the sun, it's not sun, but it was when I got to my house at 8:15. It was still bright outside. It was crazy. The sky was crazy. It was real cool. But
but that's the thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk about training. We're going to talk about training at home. We're going to talk about what this looks like. And just for reality, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, hey, if you're not training right now, you're not trying. Like, there are some people who cannot train. It is not possible. You can't train, in your studio apartment. You can't train. Okay, maybe that's you. All right. I remember the apartments I lived in. If I did that, I'd get evicted. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
but there's always ways to do stuff, man. I mean, there's always like I had to teach a class like within what you're looking at right now, and this is
I'm with you.
I just did that, and there's ways to do it. I'm not making too much noise. I mean, now I was yelling a little bit, go, go, go. It's a little, but no one complained because you know what? Either they're gone or they don't really care. They're excited to hear noise because you know what? They've just been hearing their own voice for the past week or two. So
it's not bad. That's not a bad point.
I'm just saying.
So it's kind of tricky, for some people. But in some areas, I mean, you can go outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now,
it's a lot of people.
Well,
training and running.
Some areas you can, and some areas you can't.
Yeah.
Like if you live in the concrete jungle, you ain't got no outside. You ain't got no yard. You ain't got no property. You ain't got. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Practice your bow form and sidewalk streets of Chicago.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That's true. When it comes to weapons, it's a little different.
Or really anything. I say I was at. This is wild, man. I'm still going to see customers. Customers still want me to come out and see them. This is the wildest thing. So I'm. Kid you not, I'm out somewhere yesterday, and man, I tell you this: customers lie to you all the time, right?
Yeah,
all the freaking time. So this guy is telling me,
man,
the price ain't nothing. It don't matter to me. I'll pay whatever I want. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. All right, I have heard this song and dance before. So he's walking me outside, and I'm like, it's okay, I got it. And he goes, no, really, I'm just walking with you outside because this past week there's been a bunch of stick-ups. I just want to make sure you get to your car okay. I'm like, shut the heck up, man. I knew this area wasn't all that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's not going to be a sale.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? But back to training though. So this is a tricky time because people are dipping out. They're saying, I'm done. Yep. I'll come back when this is all over.
That's the fall, maybe. I mean, that's a long time.
Or later. Now, here's the problem. And I understand the double-edged sword of this. I do. All right. I understand both sides because I'm on both sides. Right. Because, hey, our income is being affected personally in this family. By it. All right. We're okay we're doing okay because we were okay leading into it. So we're gonna be okay. However, paying for extra stuff is gonna be a problem.
Exactly.
Here's the downside for everybody. Listen, for everybody who has a school that they're a part of, and you have a monthly tuition that you're paying. If everybody cancels, this is not because I don't have one. All right.
Right.
If everybody starts to cancel, half, quarter, doesn't matter. These schools, these business owners will not be able to stay open and keep going.
To come back.
So in the fall, when you want a martial arts school to come back to, it may not be there.
Right.
Now I understand that's not trying to guilt someone into, continuing to pay, but you really should just really look at this. If everybody does this, what does that mean? Right. And I know a school who is going to, things are going to look different. Right. Yeah. I'll just say it like that. Things are going to look different. But if everybody does that, and so I'll just come back later. All right. There might not be something to come back to. So this is going to be a collective effort on everybody. Because I want the school that I go to train at, I want that one to be there when I come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to have anything bad happen to it. So when it comes down to it, why am I going to say, no, just cancel my payment?
Right.
I'm not going to do that. Right. Because I know what that's going to end up meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's a big thing right now, and it's weird. I guess for me, and I told you this during the week, was something that I'm dealing with. And I even talked about last week, was just people not having internet or people's internet being so bad.
I can't even believe that.
And so they're like, Jeff, you are giving us so much value and you're giving us the option to actually do more classes than we ever have, but we can't access it. So what do you do? Like, you're doing everything you can. And they're like, no, we want to stick with you, but why are we paying if we can't, So then you have to figure out, wait, okay, well, we'll tack it on at the end, which you still are just, if you say, hey, please just pay this so we can get through this, and then you give it to them free later, or you find other ways around it. Like, I'm going to have to go old school and maybe just make DVDs and send them to them, or drop them by. I don't know what this is going to look like.
I don't know. That's the wildest thing. If somebody doesn't have internet access, I mean, that's just like saying, I'm sorry, man, I can't take your CDs because all I have is a tape deck.
Right.
Update that stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's not
my
fault that I have a CD to give you and you have a tape deck. Get a freaking tape, get a freaking CD player.
Yeah, but you don't understand. It's not that simple where I live, okay? Like, the only place that you can get, like, there's only one company that will actually put internet in certain areas where I live. And it's terrible. It's the slowest thing ever because I had it for years growing up. And it's really weird. It just makes no sense. Yeah. And
this is weird.
That's the downfall of being in a small town. I mean, in a small community. So I have some of these outlanding towns and cities that come to my school that are 45 minutes away, and I have a good amount of students from them, and their internet is like almost non-existent, even though they have internet. But yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, so that's something I'm dealing with. Yesterday was a tough day with that, especially. Also, I bought like a lot of new equipment, HD camera, and all this stuff to get ready, and then none of it connected to all my stuff. So it was a frustrating day yesterday. Today was a lot better. Just excited to see a lot of new faces on the stream. Did some good private lessons. Had people that wanted to purchase things. Just positive things moving forward. Which just felt better. But man, it's up and down. You never know right now, and all you can do is just keep moving forward. So.
And people should just we're in a couple of different ages. We're in the information age, but you can basically access just about anybody. If you want to, you see someone that, all right, someone you want to message them on Instagram, go ahead and do that. You want to message them on Facebook, you can go ahead and do that. I had a couple of people do that with me and ask me if I would do lessons. This was in the past week.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, we'll do some Skype lessons. So that's something cool that we're working out as well. So cool. Do this. If there's some people that you're just interested in, like, hey, I wonder what that would be like. Just shoot them a message.
Do it.
And really, you should have been doing this anyway.
Before. Yeah.
But I understand the sense of urgency now is a little different. So go ahead and do it. Right?
Yep.
This would really be a good time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the cool things about all this, the positive, has just been certain people that maybe I didn't reach out to enough, or that I don't hear from enough, that have reached to check on me and stuff. Like I got a cool text from Casey last night, Casey Nash, and it was real cool. Just that she said, "Hey, I just talked to my dad. Her dad is lives in North Carolina, so really just thinking about you and all the stuff that they just put on you and your school and everything, and just." Cool things like that I don't always get, but it's been, usually I get a text from her once a year. So, but, yeah. So, I mean, things like that, Jeromy Roque and I have talked a lot. Carlos Tarney, Chris and I continue to talk all the time and try to help each other out. Luis Jimenez from Texas. I'm sure there's others that I'm leaving out right now, but there's like martial arts.
You're like the Dos Equis guy for karate.
What does that mean?
It means like you're like the most interesting man in karate.
No, I don't think so. But no, I mean, it's just like you got to communicate with these people now more than ever. Martial artists need each other now more than ever. And I don't want to make it like, because again, you know what? Sometimes you feel so much and you're like, man, I'm in a real bad way right now. Like, you really need to help me. And then you realize, man, you know what? This student of mine who wants to pay for private lessons for the next 2 years, who wants to help me out. I mean, I have someone like that. They're also, their mom is in a situation where they may lose their job, and their dad and their father is in the really crap of it as, you know, an emergency room doctor. So he's all around it. They're probably not going to see him for 3 months because he's going to have to go live. He's going to have to go in a whole nother area. So they're dealing with this and thinking about me. You know what? Like, just think about how to deal with this, but think about what other people are doing as well, because man, it's just rough for everybody. So all we can do is be friendly and be kind.
That is definitely something that's the case. Now, there are some fun things you can have with it. Now, I don't mean don't be cruel with this, but there's some fun things you can do. All right, so like I got to be out and about all the time. So like in my household, I'm the only one who goes out.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an errand that's got to get run, it's me.
It's you. Okay.
So that way, if I find out I was in contact with someone,
you just know the coronas. All right. Yeah.
I go and I quarantine myself in the master bedroom that has access to the bathroom, and then my wife can leave me food by the door. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you do?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
So, here's how I know this. So here's what's wild. So one of her friends' husband is a firefighter.
Yeah.
That happened to him.
Wow.
He was in contact with someone who had the virus, man.
Wow.
And he found out when he was at home. So he's like,
yeah.
All right. Here's the problem, though. So it was the same exact thing. So he had to quarantine himself in the master bedroom. That way he had master bedroom in the bathroom, right? So boom, locked off. You don't move.
Yeah.
The problem is he was renovating the other bathroom in their house.
Oh,
and
God.
took the toilet out. So they don't have one now.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
They
got one now, but it's whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
man, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just, I mean, and everyone's going through it, and we all are. And really, right now, more than ever, when we say one day at a time, that's kind of the way we have to treat it. And just, you know what, like, keep yourself in a positive mindset. Another cool thing I talked about, like our martial arts community sticking together. What else is real cool is, man, I have about 3 different instructors that own other schools within my own area that we are talking to and helping each other out. I'm gonna do my morning questions Friday with another martial arts instructor who most people would say is your competition. We're gonna do that together and really put that positivity out. You know what I mean?
That's smart.
Yeah. So we're just to give up that we are still out there doing this. We're gonna keep this going, and the importance of that for your child and yourself, really, not just kids. So
wait, did you do a morning questions today?
No, I did not.
That was me like, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I didn't hear one yesterday either. Did you do one yesterday?
It was Monday. Yeah. My days have been blending together some, but I did do it Monday.
No. Today's what? No.
Today is
Monday.
Wednesday.
Monday was the last time you did one, right?
Yeah. So
all right. So I'm not crazy.
Yeah. No. Right. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah. No. We're gonna get that together and make that a big deal, because that was kind of one of the ideas I wanted to do anyway. Was to get more positive people in that area that are in martial arts as well. So it doesn't always look like it's. I mean, I still have karate schools, and we can talk about this too, like that don't want to talk to me because I'm in the same business as them, Or I went. I don't know if I told you. I thought I shared this once.
I went to say about that.
Yeah, I went to a restaurant, and there was the dad and the son who run a school, and I actually years ago went to the same school with them growing up, and I'm like, hey, just completely blew me off. I'm like, what? All right, and I literally got set the table right behind them, and I just kind of was like, all right, like, okay, then that's how you want to do it.
See, it doesn't pay to be
no, not at all.
like that. Like how does that work?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, and even just, I had students of another school that when this thing happened, they shut down immediately, and I haven't seen anything from them. They haven't really updated the online stuff or anything. Maybe they are just in their own personal thing with their students. That's fine, but there's not been any advertising or anything to really show that they're still in this. And there's some of their students were like bashing my post about, that we are going to keep going whatever way. Like, oh, you need to shut down. I'm like, we are shut down, but I am running classes virtually. Like, and it just makes no sense to me why people do that. Why bash?
Oh, you mean the people who are bashing other people?
Yeah, it makes no sense, man.
You know what? I got something like that got me in my feelings. Like, I didn't know quite how to feel about this. Okay, so my wife is an interior designer.
Yeah.
She works for a kitchen and bath showroom, and she's really, really good, right? So they're kind of shut down right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the owner of that showroom, he needs some help renovating the showroom. So I've been helping him with that, all right?
Right.
A lot. All right, so the weird part is right next door to them.
Oh, yeah, it's the daycare.
Is the daycare center.
Yeah.
That's why I talked to you about this.
Yeah.
It's still going, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I saw it today. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's
right.
still going.
But at the same time, all those people, where are they going to put their kids? They're going to be at home by themselves?
I know. That's what gets me.
It's really weird, man, because that was the same thing with me. I was, going to do a camp. When they shut down the recreation, you can't do that because under the exemption laws, you're not considered a daycare. But other daycares in our area aren't allowed to stay open. It's in the law. But a lot of them closed.
Daycare centers closed?
Some have, but some have kept up with it because guess what, man? Like the parents, they're just stuck. They don't know what to do with their kids. So, and then the bad thing is, guess who they end up letting your kids go with? Their grandparents, who are the most
bingo.
Yeah, and it's like it really doesn't. It's just all a big. It's a mess.
So, I think if we just said, hey guys, in 1 week, get ready. We're going to lock down for 2. Nobody's doing nothing. And if you're out, martial law, we're going to shoot you with a rubber pellet gun on the spot.
Oh, God.
Going to have a helicopter roaming right over you. Pow, pow. Get back inside. I mean, you know what I mean? If you really want this thing to go away, if it only lasts for 14 days.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably stretches
you know what I
more
mean?
than that. It probably
I don't
stretches
want
more
that.
than that.
I don't want that, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. All right, we're done talking about this.
All right, sounds good. No, I'm with you on that. So we got some cool martial arts topics to talk about. Kick us off a little bit, or do you want to go right into the competitors of the week?
Let's go into competitors of the week.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we'll go into our topic, and we'll just talk about regions. We're gonna get into this over the next few months, man. Just really focus on the different regions and just really dive into the history and the future of it. And we're gonna kick that off this week by talking about like regional teams and ones that have stuck as a regional team, some what really means or what is a regional team, and the ones that started regional and moved national, and did they improve or not improve by doing that? Because some haven't. So
that's good.
Well,
let's do our competitors.
Competitor of the week.
Though.
Oh,
I'm
man.
going
Okay.
First.
All right. You go.
I usually ask you if you want to do it. I'm not asking. I'm going first.
All right.
My competitor of the week is Chris Walker.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Chris.
And that's where we wanted to start with that. Congratulations, yes. Chris and Katie bring their new daughter, Kiara. I hope we're pronouncing it correct, Kiara, right. Into the world yesterday.
Yes.
Like around like around noon. She came here. So hopefully everybody's doing great.
Monday.
Oh, it was on Monday. I'm sorry. So Monday, Kiara was born. Hopefully everybody's doing great.
Yes.
Hope everybody's like sanitized and quarantined. So that would be a good thing. They'll probably be in the hospital for a couple of days. Baby looks beautiful. Baby looks great.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the pictures that we see. So I can't wait for the next pod. That way Chris can talk about it a little bit. You know, hopefully the birth went great. But let's talk about the competitor. All right. I want to talk about the competitor. All right. So Chris Walker, my first time seeing Chris Walker, it was the Battle of Atlanta 2000. And I was there, and there was like a circle of people around this dude. I couldn't really make out who it was. It was Chris. Mm-hmm. And I remember Butch was kind of leading. But Butch Marks has got like a certain type of personality. He's got a little bit of an alpha personality. He's kind of got the personality of like, hey, everybody, we're doing this now. I'm not asking. You know?
Yep. Pretty much. That's Butch.
And so that's kind of how he did that. So Chris, and at the time, this was like nobody did this kind of thing. Yeah. Chris did a standing full twisting tuck. All right.
Yeah.
So I'd never seen anybody do that in karate before that point.
Right.
So Butch was like, hey, everybody, get over here. Watch this now. I was like, oh, okay. And I remember he was just like, hey, do that again. he was like a puppy or something like that. Like, here, do this trick. Like, what? And he did that. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you can people do that in karate? So my first experience of him was not his Japanese form. It was his extreme form.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, man. All right. I think he was still a junior at that time. All right. I think he was just on the last like cusp of being a junior. Because he wasn't in my division. I remember thinking like that, holy shit, is that guy in my division? Right? And he wasn't. So I didn't see him for a couple more years when he really decided, all right, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it hard. And I believe it was 2003.
4 was when he got picked up by Straight Up. So
then that's the year. Then that was the year. Okay, so it's 2004. All right. Yes, you're right. Right. Yeah. He comes out and he does a couple tournaments. Joe sees him, like, and he gets picked up
in the middle.
He goes into in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah.
So he does. He had a good. He fought well that tournament too. So he won the Japanese division,
and he was on stage for.
He was on stage, but when he did the eliminations, he wasn't on Paul Mitchell.
Right.
When he goes to the finals, he's on Paul Mitchell, and he actually tied for the overall that night too.
Yeah,
I think
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't make that tournament.
Oh gosh, who was it?
We were in the same division.
It was him and Steve Terada. And Steve Terada tied.
Yeah,
that was a really good form finals too.
Yeah,
I remember feeling like, ooh.
Yeah,
Marcel Jones wasn't in that. It was Marcel Jones too, and I'm thinking like, oh dang.
I don't remember Marcel really. Well, yeah.
I remember. But, right. So that was a good one. So those two tied, and I don't know how I can't remember how they split the overall. If they picked one or the other, if they just said you both get it, it would be weird to me if that's how it went down. So that's how I first remember him. Then now he's like one of their fighters on the team, because at this time you got Jotty's on the team, you got Joey Greenhaw, Ray is on the team, right? But I never really saw Jotty and Ray fighting that year that Chris was on. I don't think I ever saw them fight together. right?
Just the first tournament, which was Rhode Island that year. It was the
And
first
that
tournament
was the
they did.
mega one.
Yeah.
That's when it
Yeah.
was Jason,
Yeah.
Jotty, and Ray.
No. Jason was still in CJB. Yeah. No, that was
You're
that
right.
was the
You're right. You're
that
right.
was
You're
the
right.
first
I'm
time.
sorry.
The debut time of them being on Australia was at Rhode Island.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And that
And
was
that
a big deal. And so it was Joey, Jotty, and Raymond.
And that was in 2003.
2004. Sorry, no, 2003. You're right. Never mind. 2003. Yeah. Man, we're getting all. I don't know.
Is that right?
No, it was 2004. 2003.
It was 2004.
Yeah, because the end of the year
2003.
Yeah, no, it was 2004.
You were right.
Yeah.
It's 2004.
Yeah.
It was 2004. And then, so then that happened. So then now Chris is a part of the team. So
right. Bluegrass was his first full
big
team
that's right.
event. Yeah, and that was I don't even know if Raymond was there, but it was like they may have had two teams or something. But Chris, Joey, Robbie, and Raymond, were like their team or whatever. So.
Oh, I remember. No, I remember that matchup. Chris fought.
Yeah.
And it was
because Robbie
went in and
Damon.
out. It was
Robbie fought Damon and got his nose broke. Yeah.
But Joey fought, Chris fought, and Ray fought. Okay. Yeah. So Robbie would go in and out. So sometimes Chris would be in, sometimes he wouldn't. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joey always fought, Ray always fought. That's just kind of the way it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Right. So Chris goes in, and I remember he had a fight with Justice Lawrence. All right.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, these guys are going at it, right? Great fight. Well, what I love about Chris is he is a great fighter. Mm-hmm. He's a great extreme forms competitor still, all right? Yeah. And he's a great Japanese forms competitor. So I don't know. I'm sure he does do weapons a lot. I've never seen him really do it, but when we're talking about, I mean, that's enough of a triple threat right there.
Right.
Because today's extreme forms and traditional forms are basically two different languages.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's true.
That's enough of a triple threat right there. So,
yeah, he's done bow and stuff, open bow, and he even competed in the Waco Worlds one year with that. So,
how many guys today really can have the ability to win like a fighting overall? Because he won the 30 over fighting overall and win a forms overall. Who really? I don't know too many people who can do it, because there are people who do forms and can fight.
Yeah. But it depends on what we're talking about.
Can do some forms. All right, I would be an example of that. I'm a fighter who can do some forms. It's past me now. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know of a lot of people. I'm trying to think of, is there anybody left who could win an overall in fighting and win an overall in form?
Are we talking about senior level? We're talking about 18 plus.
Let's just.
Because Jason was doing it. Jason was doing it recently in the 30 and plus.
But let's talk about that. Well, when was the last time he did? I don't know.
2 years ago, I think, or a year ago, when he was like at DC. I think he won the forms grand, and then the fighting, or was up there. You know what I mean? He was able to.
He was in the finals.
Do that. Yeah,
I think I remember. I think that was like 5 years
ago. No, 2 years ago I was there. He was in there. Also, someone who I don't know if he's won the senior overall. Maybe he's done it one tournament for fighting, but in forms he's won it, and he's won his division almost every tournament last year and the year before. Khan, Jake Khan actually is a really good fight. Is a really good fighter.
He's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter.
And he wins his lightweight senior division. And he's done pretty well in the run-offs and grands and stuff. So he has a potential. I mean, he's won the weapons grand and the forms grand before in seniors, and then been in it for fighting. So that's getting there. There's someone.
But if you look at, but wait a minute though. But even with Jake though, wouldn't you look at him and say,
well, he's a forms guy. Yeah.
You're a forms guy.
Yeah, of course.
But I said, but with Chris, don't you kind of look at him and go, you could make your own mind, and
Right.
would just
Depending on
be
the
the
day.
way.
Correct.
And it would just be the way. Like if Chris just decided, I'm a forms guy.
Right.
You'd go,
he could.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If he just decided, no, I'm just a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's whatever you decide. Like he has that ability. Right.
Right.
We fought each other 2 times.
Yes, we know the story. Yeah.
I lost both. Right. I was not. He kind of picked me apart when we fought in teams. Right.
Yeah.
And I had a bad strategy and some bad coaching.
Yeah, I remember this story.
The coach was my brother. So I got beat. I think I got beat like 5-1 or 5-2. It wasn't great. And then he beat me in a super fight.
The super fights at Diamonds, yeah.
Oh my gosh! At one point during this match, I totally whiffed. Chris ended up I whiffed on a ridge hand. Ended up having to try to do like a step through spin hook kick, and he grabs my leg and ends up throwing me on the ground. It's a cool match, though. If you want to watch the match, it's kind of cool. All right, I don't end up winning it, but it's whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
So Chris Walker is my competitor of the week.
Yes. Chris, again, great friend of mine. We've known each other since we were kids. Competed, he was kind of like, he always did the battle and the US Open growing up, maybe 1 or 2 others, bluegrass every now and then. And we would see each other then, you know what I mean? And then finally, like in 2004, it was like, all right, he's really gonna, go full out. And it was really cool. And at that time we were like, both of us trying to beat John Sue. That's what we were doing. And one tournament I would be close, and next tournament he would, and we would be up and down, and it was cool. And it was really the beginning of him doing that and me kind of fading out as CJB stopped after that. And I kind of went my own path. He did his, and now we're kind of doing the same thing now. So it's kind of cool. My competitor of the week, another one from Florida.
This is a good one.
Jeromy Roque. So
this is good.
Jeromy Roque, he is not just a Facebook troll, okay, guys? So if you don't know that,
I love his posts. If I ever see that he's post something, I'm like,
gotta see this, and then look at the comments. Because he posts
things I think about.
Oh yeah.
That I'm not quite sure if I'd say.
Right.
But I pretty much agree with everything he says.
And then I'm like, do I want to comment? Do I not? Do I want to or not? And sometimes
I always do.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I just message it to him and we just laugh. So Jeromy is another one that grew up competing and everything, but again, him and I didn't really get close until later on. And I think I shared the story before about he started the Blitz tour. And he was trying to find where he wanted to take that, and he kind of wanted to do his own thing because he was, let's be honest, in Florida, you're kind of stuck if you want to grow your tournament anymore. At the time, there was 4 national or world tournaments in Florida already, maybe 3. And then you had the Atlanta. So it's just tough. So I helped bring him into the NBL. And work on that. One thing is Jeremy's a funny guy, right? You see him as when it comes to judging, when it comes to coordinating, when it comes to promoting, to anything with his league, and even his school, he is one of the most professional people I've ever seen, right? All right, when it comes to that. When you see Jeromy fight, it's the complete opposite. All right? Jeromy is rugged. Jeromy is going to late hit you. Jeremy's going to push whatever buttons he can, whatever rules he can to get it his way. And so it's funny to see that difference, right? And that's one of the reasons why I love Jeromy, because he's just going to do it. He's going to push the edge, right? Which is what he does on Facebook. He pushes that edge, pushes it. And that ended up being one thing that kind of made it tough with, him moving forward the NBLs. This story that I talked about in my tournament with him him and Brian and the team fight with Velocity versus Gallios.
Well, now the video, I saw the video of that.
Yeah. And so
that's hard. Like once I saw the video of that, I'm like, damn, I don't even know what to do about that.
Right. But so Jeromy, though, the year before he came to my event, him and Velocity came, and they had a rough time too, losing to certain people and everything, losing teams. And Murphy was mad, but by the end of the night, Jeremy's up there. He is beating everybody, and he ends up losing in a good fight against Jermod. And it's just, I like watching Jeromy fight just because he's just gonna find whatever way to make it happen, you know. And so he's my competitor of the week just because he's a fun dude. He has a really smart. Yeah. He has a smart mind for the sport. He is one of the most professional people I know, but he also knows how to push that edge, like I said. And, man, I know that I can talk to – like right now, he is one of the people that I talk to almost every day about all this stuff, checking on him, because this dude has a big after-school program. He knows what he's doing. And him and I bounce ideas.
Martial arts is a good martial arts program.
And his league, man, Blitz – which now I think it's USA, Sport Karate USA, because he helped combine 3 leagues in Florida. He's doing great things. He's just a fun dude, and he was also on the first time I saw him was demo team years ago, and I think it was Team Intensity, and him, Mark Canizzato, all those guys back in the day. I did. All of them. So, yeah.
The first time I saw Jeromy, it was like an epic match between he and Raymond Mendoza. It was 2004 U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And it was the first round, and it might as well have been for a grand championship.
Yeah.
And both of them fought similar, which at the time, everybody that was kind of the stigma for how fighters would fight. Right side, long, tall, strong, explosive, pick your leg up, fly at each other, and then punch each other a few times. Yeah. Right? That's kind of how it started. Correct. Then it just kind of blossomed. I mean, these guys were like intense, huh? Team Intensity. Yeah. So, yeah. And I just remember, I think it was like the light heavyweight division. And I remember thinking, like, these guys are insane, right?
Yeah.
They're just blasting each other. And that was the first time I had heard of Raymond Mendoza, so I knew him. But I didn't know Jeromy, right? I think that was like his first year as an adult. I think so. Not certain, right? But, that was the first time I had seen him fight. Now, I don't know if he's done fighting. I hope he's not, right? But with all the tournaments that he's running, he's done a phenomenal job with the Blitz tour. And really think about that. When you're in Florida, you're in a hotbed of just martial arts tournaments and competitions. Correct. You could say Orlando. It's saturated. Oh yeah, in Orlando with that. You could just say it's saturated. It's not growing. You can't build anything more. Right. It's already going to be what it's going to be. And he didn't just start a tournament. He started a league. Yeah. Right. And is now merging people wanting to go into his league. And really when tournament promoters would be guys in their late 40s, early 50s. Correct. He did it in his 20s.
Yep. Pretty awesome.
Dude. Yep. Yeah.
Real smart dude. Yep. He knows what he's doing. He's awesome, man. He also is part of a team that, like when I think of Jeromy, I do think of Velocity. And so let's get into our topic. So
let's do it.
Regional teams, all right? And just the path of what they are. And so for me, a regional team is a team that is based out of one region. Now, it doesn't mean they just only compete regionally, but their team is based out of that area, right?
And they kind of compete in that regional circuit-ish.
First, and then move national, but they still keep that same thing. So a perfect example of that is one of the longest running team ever, JPM. JPM started as a New England-based team.
And what was the name of that again?
I want to say Team Panther, but it was Panther something, but it's and so it
Isn't
was
that wild?
yeah, and so it was people from Boston, Rhode Island, that area, Connecticut, that area, and it was like that for a very long time until they started picking up like Anthony Price and Richard Plowden and those guys, but everything was Northeast and really more New England area. Once they moved down and got like KA, that was New Jersey. That was as low as they went for a little bit. And honestly, their New England team, I would still put up to some of the ones they've had. Like,
right.
Like you're talking about Pedro and Alberto Montron and, Mike Conroy, Steve Babcock, John Payton. John Payton was a little bit, like that whole area, man. I mean, it's crazy. And, Christine Banner Rodriguez, Cheech Ludsey, all those guys were from that same area. And then they expanded. And now it's, there's not really anybody from that area anymore that's on the team. You know what I'm saying?
So sometimes it's hard to find people from the
America.
States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to kind of dive into that, like with that, it was because of the sponsor they got. And guess what? You got a big sponsor. We want to expand. Let's take this all over. Let's really do this. With JPM,
Prestige
it was like that.
worldwide.
Right. So, and that was smart, but you start at your base and then you go from there. Now, on their end, I don't think it's hurt them too much to not have, those people there. I think in fighting it has, because before they had that base of Boston Taekwondo that they could take people and build up, Now,
we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth in the next couple of weeks, and I don't want to spoil it as to why.
Right.
But why do you think it is? Tell me let's just talk about this a little bit. As long as we're talking about this local team.
Yeah.
What they were.
Yeah.
And then they became, it's exactly like you mentioned.
Yep.
Then they kind of grew, and then you pick up this guy, and you pick up that guy, like a lot of other teams that we're going to talk about, and they became a national team.
Well, and first they
though,
were based in here and then traveled nationally. And then as they did that more and got successful, every other one's like, hey, you need to start expanding and get, more and more and more.
You got to get some more guys. Don't just stick with your home base.
Right.
Branch out.
And I was on a team like that, and I've told this story, with Team Proper later on. I was their first one that was not on the West Coast and really not Nevada or California. Their purpose of starting was to take people from California and give them, really make that, their thing. And I started competing a lot on the West Coast, and we started talking, and they said, all right, we want to build the Forms team, or, kind of not just around me, because they had a strong local base with traditional, but they wanted open style and stuff, and eventually maybe do something with the East Coast. That never ended up happening. But now there's not really anybody on Proper that are from California except Junior and his, kids. Sometimes Leatri competes, but there's not really, as much as far as in the public eye. There's people from other countries and everything. So that's taken a whole different thing. It was, Leon, Brian, his son Patrick, Alex Arceo, that core base that were just Sean Arceo, that were just, hey, we're going to take this California team all over the country, so that changed. I don't know. I mean, I just, why on certain those things, I don't know. You could say good and bad on each of them, so.
Yeah, I've always liked, I remember years ago, with Proper, I just remember really liking the culture that Junior had with his team, right? Yeah. And I like that he got different logo gear for his team. That was super cool.
Every year
different,
was different
colors, and not just all right, we got white, we got black. No, he got orange and neon orange and teal.
Yeah.
Different colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just
cool.
different, right? And I like
the style, and even at a time, it was trying to make Proper its own brand, in which what it was, and they even had Illust, which is a California brand that sponsored Proper Gear.
That's right.
And then there was other things that kind of happened. There's a couple other ones that they partnered up with. You know, and like one year, my brother did the new logos for the company. It was cool, man. It was just a lot of different things like that. You know,
but if you look at it though, even when they were still mostly California-based team, right? And they just went to national events. They started traveling. They would, okay, so let's just take their team, like the actual men's team, right? With all the teams there, you might see them in the final.
Right.
Like, let's not forget.
Yeah.
There was a time they won the 2015 Diamonds.
Right.
All right. They won that. That's like a trivia question there. With all the teams there, they won the 2015 Diamonds.
Yep. And that was their last one that had that core, you know, of Lee Eitri and Leon, you know. So yeah, I mean it's just different. So as far as another one, I mean, by going back to another California one, which the name of the team says it, and I think we've talked about this before, but Bay Area's best, right?
Yeah.
You have Bay Area's best, and originally it started with people from the Bay Area, and then the guy Dabashi, Mike Dabashi, his goal was to really support the NBL and every year have a team there at Super Grands every year, and that's what he tried to make sure. And sometimes he did it with people from California. Sometimes he kind of didn't. As long as Bay Area's best entered a team, that was his thing. And sometimes it'd have one person from Cali. Sometimes it would have someone who wasn't even from the Bay Area but was from Southern Cali, and two New Yorkers or whatever. You know, like Carlos Tarney was a big member of Bay Area's best.
Isn't he from Syracuse?
Yeah. Chris McBride, same thing. He was from Ohio. Those guys were part of one of the coolest teams ever. Damon, Chris McBride, and Carlos Tarney. Great team. You know, Damon was a staple of that team for a while. Then it moved on. I mean, even one Super Grands, they sponsored the Plowden's team to be called Bay Area's best. So yeah.
What?
I mean, is it? Yeah. So
wait, what?
Yeah, man. Travis was on there.
Wait a minute. Travis. How did that happen?
What do you mean? How did it happen?
So you at Super Grands, right? It was the Super Grands?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2002.
It was Team Plowden, and all of a sudden just your Bay Area's best.
Well, they flew us out there and paid for us, so yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was already planned.
Yeah.
But like Mike had nobody from that area, and so he's like, all right, like I said, I'm entering a team. I'm gonna go Plowden's team. Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yep.
That is the strangest thing.
Yeah. So
I don't remember if we did that 2007 also. I don't think so.
So
I can't remember.
2004, Bay Area's best was Preston Clemens, Alex Lane, and Kyle Richards. That was Bay Area's best team, and they won.
But the only
title.
one from the Bay is Kyle Richards.
Yeah. Hey, they had one person.
He did a lot. He did that a lot.
He did that a lot. Yeah. And so that's what I mean, like a regional team that kind of went that way. And, you know, I mean, 2008 Super Grands, I think Raymond and several others were representing Bay Area's best. You know, like he just did whatever. Raymond was on Bay Area's best one year with Damon, Carlos, and Raymond. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's man, it's just it's a cool one, man. But he did from 90. They won the title in 92, and from there they were like, we're gonna enter every year.
We're gonna always be a thing.
Yeah, and
all right.
That was
so. It was really just more of a stance of we're not going to cease to exist. Yeah. We're gonna keep putting somebody out there.
Correct. Yeah. What about some regional teams that you thought really good and you knew you would only see them at certain events because they didn't leave the
How
area?
about Mass Mall?
Mass Mall?
That's more. Isn't that from?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. My first thing was Mass Link. All right.
No.
And so, and
That's why you said
actually,
it like that.
when I first met them, it wasn't before they actually started. All right. So they started all this at once. There was a team Mass Link, there was a Mass Link league, and then they were starting what now became Sport Martial Arts, right? So there was those three things that were actually all going on at once, which a lot of people don't know about. It was a regional league. They had a little team going,
Right.
and then they
And
were
that's in
also
the
traveling.
DMV area. That was in the DMV area, right?
No, Mass Link is what I'm saying. All right,
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to explain to you why I misunderstood. Now,
Oh, I understand.
That was what was going on. Okay, so Emily had that. You had Jeff LaFrance. You had several of those people that were competing and had that. Right now, on the other end, Mass Mall is based in Maryland. Gerald Dawson started a league called Mass Mall and then started a team that would represent that league and go out. Their whole thing was kind of like, let's take it old school. Let's change the rules. He also paired with Mafia Holloway. So it was actually the team was, and the league was ran by Mafia and Gerald. And you had actually Justin Ortiz, one of his first, the first team that brought him out. Robin,
Massimo, that's right.
Yeah,
I remember him telling me that.
Gina Thornton, Sean Elliott was part of the team and a coach. Kirk Jenkins. Let's see. I know I'm missing some other people, but yeah, man. I mean,
here's what I'll say though
it was cool.
about a team like that and other regional teams that you're mentioning. So
of course, Cam.
Oh yeah, and
Jarrell.
Jarrell. Yeah. So if you take, so they're all guys who are from local schools, in somewhat close proximity to each other, right?
Yeah, they train together. Yeah.
Either train together or train against one another, because in those competitions they're trying to compete and beat one another.
Correct.
There comes a team formed with them in it, and that worked. In some areas, you just can't do that.
Right. Like
in some areas, they would just be like, "Nah, forget you. We're gonna beat you. We don't want to join you, no matter what the stakes are."
I would say Chicago would be one of those.
That was the first on my mind.
I mean, I
kind of like it.
Oh no, I get it. I mean, you can go to war with those people because you've been to war with them, you know. So it's yeah. So
now here's the thing. So they won't. You're not going to join a team with each other. However, if I'm ever at an event and Jake McGinnis says, "Hey, you want to team up together?" Yeah, I'm gonna team up with him before I'm gonna team up with somebody else. All right. Yeah. If I'm ever out, and like someone's out, and Rob Jackson needs a fighter, yeah, Rob's gonna fight with him. And of course, everybody's gonna be like, Chicago's got they're top heavy as all get out, right?
Yeah,
they're competitive as all get out, but everybody wants to beat everybody. Nobody wants to team together. So a team of just Chicago fighters, it would take some
negotiation,
really good negotiating and organizational
and sponsorship
to make that happen.
Right. No, I get that, and
Dwan almost pulled that off, though. By the way,
yeah,
he almost did that. Yeah.
That's cool. For us, it would be like, there's like Team Unity based out of South Carolina.
Right.
Now they've kind of branched off a little bit, but still more of a Southern-based team. They've kind of kept their main ones, like Wayne Easterling has stuck with them since being a kid. Certain ones like that. You have growing up, like 1 year. All right, so the year that Super Grands first came to Savannah, right? 98. It was the first time it came down to the Southeast, right? So everyone just made a big thing, and saying this now sounds weird, but the region for that area was called the Dixie region, right? The Dixie Conference. Okay, so
Yeah, that's
they
weird
said
now.
they said, all right, we're gonna bring everybody together and create Team Dixie. All right, so
That's even weirder when you say it.
yeah, this doesn't age very well, right? But the concept was just to get all the top people from South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and Georgia to represent the same team.
It's just a name. That's not bad.
Yeah, and just really like compete more. And then when we go to Super Grands, it's like, hey, this is our region. Like we are, we have a team behind it, and not just going on your own. So you had like certain people that were traveling. Really it was Spartanburg Martial Arts, which had Brian Plimple and other people, but they were wearing a Team Dixie uniform. And I remember they went to Diamonds with that, and Spencer Aaron's just like, man, this guy's really good. He's from your area, right? Like, I don't really like the team name, but I was like, oh, well, yeah, they're just wearing that because Super Grands is and try to explain it, but that kind of thing. It was just kind of a funny thing with that. So,
you never really thought about it though. There are some school teams that have just stayed a school team and
maybe
went
had one
national.
Or two. Right.
Went national. And probably the best one that I could think of was Boston Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So Boston Taekwondo could have just went out and just been like, nah, we're just going to stay just like this.
Yeah.
And, have fun losing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they would have, honestly, in some ways, some of those people would have been more successful in team fighting if they would have stayed together.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
There are some teams like
cool.
that, though. You know what I mean?
Right. So, I mean, it's definitely like that.
And sometimes I really kind of think, like, I've always really kind of thought about that. Like, and Travis is really getting this going. It's something that we've always kind of thought about. Like, Travis is actually doing. When I thought, like, well, what if it was just everybody from
here to
Georgia, fought everybody from
South Carolina, or
exactly, right, or everybody from New York, fought everybody from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Yeah,
that would be cool right there.
Yeah. I mean,
you should do that one, Travis.
Yeah, I mean it's really different. Like growing up, there's certain tournaments. We would have state versus state sparring for about 5 or 6 years in the Southeast, and you had Virginia team versus North Carolina team versus South Carolina team, and really it was a lot of times it was just those three, and then they brought in Pennsylvania because Bill Viola and his team wanted to come down. So we had those 4 teams versus each other. Sometimes we had Georgia, depending on the year. So and that would be state versus state, and we would do that, and it would be like 5-on-5. It was pretty cool. Then I know Apple Siosin did Turf Wars in Vegas, and it was one year she did NorCal versus SoCal, and it was that was the craziest I've seen for a regional tournament. Like I felt the floor shaking, how hype it was. It was pretty cool. Then we did like Texas versus Cali or whatever once, and that was a cool thing. I love it. I mean, it's really cool because it is the regions, against each other. Another team that started originally as a California-based team was Kanai, because the sponsorship and everything was there. They ended up getting some other ones, and then guess what? Didn't last much longer, Then you have like Team Full Contact, which a lot of people forget about, was a California-based team because the gear and the company back then was based in California. And it was all those people that would do that. You had Sherman Oaks Raiders, which was a huge staple of that area in that Southern California. Guess what? Manny Reyes becomes on their team. Jerry Fontenez is on their team. Gary Lee from Texas is on their team. You had those regional teams that eventually start picking up other people.
How about Team Wasaroo? It's Canadian-based martial arts gear and apparel company.
But that actually started. I'm thinking that was out of the frameworks of Hugo Sport. I think because Hugo Sport was a team in the late 90s, actually mid to late 90s, and it was still based out of the area. And then they
can't
turned
confirm or deny that one.
But it was Hugo Sport, and then it turned into that later on. But there's always been some type of.
But they're still. But Wazaru's
Quebec
still.
Type.
They still have a company.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, Wasaru got that sponsorship. Well, because CJB was kind of about to stop. Spencer decided not to sponsor anymore. Then Wasaru came up, picked it up, and here you go. And it, when even trying to do the same thing with Hayabusa, it kind of still all connects some way,
And I tell you what though, it's a strange thing about that is there's one constant connection between them all. What is it?
Sam.
No.
Oh,
Conroy.
Yeah.
Conroy's the one. Now Sam is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I remember there was I'm not gonna say what team. There was a couple of them. I was talking to Hamid because he's one of my best friends, and he turned down a team, and I'm like what? Like, and this is when Full Circle had ended, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, I got Conroy, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't have a team, you don't have a sponsorship. He goes,
yeah,
that's what you don't understand.
Yeah,
if you have Conroy, you always have a team.
Correct.
I'm like, I don't know about all that. Sure
enough.
Yeah, you do. He's right.
Yeah.
If you got Conroy and you want a team, you want a sponsorship, you got Conroy, you got a team.
Well, and I talked to Conroy about that the other day, and it was
he doesn't
like,
stop.
and he's just like, you know what? It's, hey, the ones that are loyal, the ones that are, he's a
loyalty kind of guy.
He's a loyal guy, and that's one of the reasons why, like you said, K-Talk was wanting him for years to coach them. He's been real close with them, but he said, no, I'm sticking with what I'm doing right now until they decide to join forces. Then, that's how it went. And, and that was another thing that had to do with, when we talked about Elite and moving on to the new Elite in 2000 was that same thing. There was too many. There were some guys that were wanting more or complaining about this or that. And he's just like, man, be with people that appreciate, what you do and what you're giving them, and that was one of the things. So, I think that's something that's really cool about Connor. He's always going to appreciate the sponsorship and the opportunity. So yeah.
Now, Velocity. Did we talk about Velocity as a team?
Not yet. So Velocity.
Let's talk about Velocity.
Based from Murphy Gonzalez, Miami, right? But
still the coach.
Right. And I know it started as like a Miami only team, right? And they had a real big hatred at one point. I remember hearing this with, other people from like Orlando. It was like Miami versus Orlando, and they would battle at all these tournaments. Right. And then eventually, that kind of fell off, and it just became all Florida and to one point, so I mean, Jeremy's from Orlando. He kind of, there were certain ones like I remember like Katie Smith was the one odd one who was always on Velocity, but from Orlando. Chris was on there for a little bit. It just kind of went, and I don't know. I'm not like getting Steve the history. Lennon. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Hakeem
right.
Walker. Those guys are from New York.
Right. But Hakeem lives there now, but yeah.
Yeah, or how about Jamie Cravens? Dude's from St. Paul.
Right. And it moved,
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Then the big thing was Murphy and Jeremy were doing a lot in Puerto Rico, and so they got several fighters from there. There's a little bit Mexico. There's several from Mexico. So he's kept it, he's been the main coach. And honestly, in a lot of ways, you can compare him a lot to like Junior, And again, we can't leave out Leo Valdivia. I mean, he was huge with that.
And from Miami.
Yeah, but they're very similar. They've stuck with their team. They've had it the whole time. And they started regionally, and not just on where they competed, but they traveled nationally. And then eventually now they have competitors that are all over. So
that's right.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. They're definitely very similar on that.
So if you were to take, like, let's just take today. All right. What do you think? Because I don't know. If you were to take like a region, like all the regions, like if they were competing against each other,
Yeah.
all right, what region do you say, or what area do you say, like, oh yeah, they would be the best?
Or just this would be the region I would look at. Like, say if I was a sponsor, right, and I can only pick one region to sponsor a team from. I think that would be kind of a cool thing, like, all right, this is where I wanted to go. Now, are we looking at fighting? Are we looking as an overall team? Like we said, like take 10, you're going to sponsor 10 people that is a complete team. I think that's a pretty cool concept, right?
Yeah, but it's, of course, you look at fighting first.
I mean, maybe.
I would.
Well, you would, but again, let's look at it like, what's going to make you be seen more? Forms. There's more options to be seen, right? So I think just having an overall team is cool. So just think about that. For me, I would say one that some people may not really think about. I would say Texas. But that's just because overall wise, they have an amazing, it's huge. That's one thing. And there's just a wide variety of all-around martial artists there, okay? You're talking about not just creative forms, not just traditional, not just point sparring, some of the best continuous fighters I've ever seen are from Texas. It's just a whole different, you're talking about people that don't like each other in one state. It's like that, and it creates a freaking crazy rivalry. So it would be really cool.
I think the best right now, I really don't even think it's close, including Texas. I don't think it's close. I think it's Georgia. I think it's Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I think that area, yeah.
In fighting, yeah.
Or forms too.
Who right now? Who's the top guy from Georgia?
All right. You got the coaches there in forms that are from there.
Right, but they're not putting out people. So that's all I'm saying. Like, sorry. Calvin and Marcel are doing private lessons with certain people, but a lot of them aren't from there anymore, and I don't think it's their students that are going out and traveling. So that's just, there may be some that I'm forgetting. I'm sure there are.
Well, I know. And I don't want to say like he should take credit for him, but I know that Marcel works with Alan Davies.
Right. Yeah, Shaquan's the one. I just didn't want to mess up his name. That's one person, though, and yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's certain ones like that, and I would say, yeah, that's a hotbed right now.
Oh, heck yeah! I think they're the best right now.
Yeah, for fighting, I would definitely agree.
I would love to be in my mid to late 20s and be in Atlanta right now if I was training. Oh my gosh! Would that be awesome? You know what I mean?
But
my late 30s, no, I'm fine.
What's the vibe though? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Well, I keep getting up and down, on what the actual vibe is and how the training atmosphere actually is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got a different type of personality. I would just go and make it happen.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree.
Call the people who don't go. I'll just call them names and make them go.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Because they're just too dang good, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's just too many fighters that are that dang good
in good.
One dang area.
I think it's just still hard to go against, like, New York. New York is a tough one. And you can't – the hardest part is, like, you want to say, like, a state or a region, but there's certain people, like again, talking to Carlos – he never went against some of those people in New York, and it's really, really crazy. So you can't just lump them in there thinking, oh, yeah, well, you went against them all the time. No, not really. We were this side. We didn't go over here, And similar to, like, Pittsburgh and Philly, like, they kind of stood to their own areas. Philly and New York and New Jersey are more related than all of New York together or all of Pennsylvania together.
That would be interesting. Maybe if it happens like next year, like the 2021 WKC Nationals. What if it was like, all right, this state, like each state represents, you get to compete.
Yeah.
And each state gets to field a team. Here's your team.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah. All right, so certain regions, let's just say who are the leaders that are going to put out those next ones? So
Now?
New York, Jesse Ray is doing it with Next Level. He's killing it. And that's more of a
basically a school team.
Basically, but yeah, I mean they have some regional thing, but they spread so much, You're talking about them, of course, TCK.
You know what though? Here's what I think. I think the only thing missing from this one being the best, if they get a couple of fighters or branch out and really start competing more in fighting, I think Team Infinity would be the best team. All right?
Yeah.
If they picked up, I don't think that's Mike's interest. All right?
Right.
But if Mike just decided, no, I'm going to pick up the All-Stars.
Yeah.
It'd be it.
Yeah.
It'd be over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, and that could happen. You never know. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they're one. For a while, AKA it looked like was trying to do that as well. And AKA has a great team. They've kind of gone more into the California area and the Chicago area, those kind of two areas. So interesting to see how that's kind of expanded, but for me, I would still put that old school Chicago based AKA team against some of the ones now. I know times have changed, but as far as like their wins and everything, you know what I mean? So
you say like them right now.
Well, them right now is completely different.
Well, that's what I thought you were saying.
What I'm saying though is like the actual wins, like, I'm sorry, you're talking about like an AKA that had like, back in the day with my chat and those types of people in it, they were winning just as much as their team now.
Okay, so you're saying like a fantasy lineup of like this from this regional team from this era.
Right. I mean, again, like I'll go back to proper. I'll put their team now against the team they had originally with Brian, Leon, and Alex Arceo. Or even, as an alternate June, you can put 4 or 5 of those guys. To me, I still like them compared to their other one now. Because I don't know which one they have now because it's not really consistent on who they have,
So, okay, so now I see your question is different. What's the greatest like local team of all time? Is that kind of where you're going?
Somewhat, or even
still say with that. Then it's Boston Taekwondo.
Oh yeah. But again, did we really see them compete as that? That's the only thing. Another one we always Team Fast Feet. You had Jerry, you had Boogie, you had Garth, you had a lot of guys that were.
Well, no, dude. See, there you can go with that. You mentioned Garth. I was going to mention this. What about Team Victory?
Yeah, Victory was started as that.
Yep.
They spread out, then they actually came back to that later on. Exactly. And now that's, now you have.
The last time there was a Team Victory was when it was previously, it was what Impex previously was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's really cool just to kind of see the way it's evolved and everything. And that's why I wanted to pick this topic. Just because it's just interesting to see it. There's still so many that we haven't even talked about. Like back in the day, Team Firefighters was a big team in NBL, and it was based in Texas. And then they spread for a while, and they came back. You had
Firefighters. What in the world? I never heard of this.
Yeah. So Neil Adams had a team called Team Firefighters, and he was a firefighter, I think, or wanted to.
Well, I hope so.
Wanted to do something to give back.
Otherwise,
right?
it's a
And
strange
yeah,
name.
yeah. And so it was based out of Texas. They had some other ones. Jason was on the team. Jason Tankson was on. He was on every team in the NBL, man. And so he, that was that. You had Team Liker, which was Bob Liker's team, mostly based out of the Missouri, Kansas area. And then, went into Chicago with Larry and Jason. And eventually they ended up forming with Team Smash, which was originally it was Boyce's team he had years ago. But Mark Russo brought one that was based out of that New Jersey and Philly area. And they both had two teams that were regional. And they said, hey, let's make them one. So they made them one, and you got IDC. So, yeah, I mean, man, it's really cool to see some of that, like a region, because really Full Circle was a regional team.
I was just going to say that.
I mean, it was a Florida-based team, and then they
decided to pick up the world.
Well, they merged with, was it Wasaroo at the time, right?
I
think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, no.
Or was it
that was another counter, I think.
Yeah.
That was another. Yeah. Wasaroo was about to be done. So hey, you guys want to become a national team and pick us up because we're gonna go somewhere? Okay, here you go. Now all of a sudden, you're the biggest team on the planet.
Right. So yeah, man. I mean, it's really cool just to look at some of that and how it looking. I mean, because we can dive more into the history of all this stuff. I mean, and hopefully we will as we keep going over these next couple.
The next couple weeks, we're gonna get into them a lot.
DKT Force One was a Virginia DMV based team. Prestige, same thing. DMV based teams that ruled the nation for a while, So
okay, so local team. Who do you think had the best local team of all time?
That I actually saw compete, fighting.
Oh,
or just all around. Because again, we could say Boston Taekwondo, but I mean, most of the time they were.
What we saw. See, that's the reason we can. The reason I say that's Boston Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Is because everybody who was Boston Taekwondo
was a major player,
winning, and they were a major player on different teams.
Yeah.
And they were just like, you just see at the end of the tournament, it just be almost all Boston Taekwondo.
Right, but none of them were representing Boston Taekwondo
I know
at the time. That's a school. That's not a regional team.
I know that.
Yeah.
But
so, you can't
you see what I'm saying? But every single one of them.
That's the difference in a school team and a regional team.
Okay.
Which was
when you look at it, they all fought individually.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
And then when you see towards the end of the tournament, it's just them.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
That's kind of why I was like, well, wouldn't it be them?
Yeah. But
I mean, the closest thing to that you see now is the Plowdens. When you see Avery and Morgan at the end of the tournament, and with Chris on Impex now too, that's local, right? It's the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but we're talking about 3 people, not 7 or 8. You know what I mean, or 10. I mean it. And again, that's school and not regional based. Really at one point, Gallios and GOP was like a regional team that went everywhere. Now they end up getting more people, but they were based in that area. When they came back, it was like, all right, 2 from Texas and 1 from Louisiana, with Ryan and Willie being like the main ones, and then they had other ones. But yeah, I mean, man, that's a hard one to answer. I'm going to say, even though I kind of... All right, my favorite team that was based in one area that I would say Sherman Oaks Raiders. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Sherman Oaks Raiders from the early 90s. Just the legacy they have. And I still, I'm still intrigued in them and want to know more about them. So I'm excited to do that and learn more about the rivalries and stuff going on. So that was one for me. But
well, how do you think they'd hold up against Boston Taekwondo?
Well, that was the thing. They're around the same time, and we never really got to see it,
No.
In Vegas, that one Vegas where kind of went crazy with JPM versus Sherman Oaks, and I think ended up they just ended the tournament right then. So it was that crazy. But yeah, man.
I really hope there's something like that where it's like, all right, if everybody's gonna come, it's like, all right, each state represents. You get to field your team.
Yeah.
So I think if that like the next like WKC Nationals, that would be dope.
That would be cool. Well,
we'll see how that happens.
We're gonna have it with Face Off, man. We're gonna have it with the main network, and Travis is going to. We're all gonna make this thing happen, and we're gonna be a part of it and make it grow, man. So let's look. We have something really cool to look forward to over the next year. With having events, okay, not tournaments, events.
Right.
Again, this is something that I've been saying for a while. Is we are not promoters, we are producers, event producers. You have to produce an event. And that is something that YCL said, Apple and Brian Young, all of us, we were producers. We weren't promoters. We don't only promote an event. A promoter is someone who goes around and just says, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, you're fully in. You produce this whole thing. You do all of it. So, and I think promoters need to start thinking of themselves as producers, not promoters, because then you really understand what your event is about.
But they probably were fight promoters at one point because there was a lot of like in the like the late 80s, or even mid to early 80s. There was kickboxing events that they were promoting. And you had to get people there. But they were also running a martial arts tournament. So they're probably just the mentality just moved the same. It's just continued to breathe the exact same way.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
That's good.
All right.
Next week, I'm jacked about next week. Should we even say? Should I say?
I think so. We got to get people to be excited.
I'm really excited about this one. So next week, we've got a legend who's going to be on the show. Mike Pondiero will be on Inside Scoop.
Yes, sir.
I am jacked.
This is cool.
Not only is he's a fighting legend, he is a super smart and knowledgeable guy. So if you've never heard him really speak on the sport before, tune in next week because it's going to be great. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be real cool. Just a lot of things that maybe you don't realize about Mike Pondiero that we'll find out and learn about, his history here and there, where he's from, where he's been at, where he lived, all the different areas, his background, his history, his lineage. Pretty cool.
His stories.
I want to hear some cool stories of like that, like what I'm talking about, Team Full Contact, Bay Area's Best, Sherman Oaks, that whole thing, and JPM through all that stuff. So it's going to be cool.
It's going to be good. Okay. Yeah. Stay safe, everybody. Don't get the coronas.
All right, man. Yeah. Make sure you guys are being safe and also being positive. All right. Reach out to somebody that maybe you don't reach out to normally, because everybody needs, their chin up during this time.
Hey, selfishly though, don't forget to subscribe. Like, comment, share this. Tell your friends. Let's climb the podcast ratings poll. Let's get up there in like the top 100. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be cool.
All right. This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.